Hello, I'm Jeff from Eng-Manfac, Engineering and Manufacturing, and welcome to part 5. Last time we had finished extending the hearth out, and now I'm going to put some trim decorative rock, but it's actually, let me get one here, not rock, but this is what it looks like. I bought a box of these things, quite a bit, but it's actually concrete. It's just put into a mold and made into interesting looking rock shapes. I will have to cut a 45 bevel on this in order to make the corners. And I have a concrete saw that was a big handheld one that was meant to saw like a concrete floor, where you put it down into the floor and saw along it. Has a 12-inch diamond blade, but I can't be holding that heavy thing and trying to do accurate cuts. So I'm going to need to try to turn it into a table saw to saw concrete. Anyway, why don't you stay tuned and see how I did all of this, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. So I've got this big concrete saw, and I need to be able to cut rocks and some bricks before I go and put them on the fireplace area or the pellet stove area. So I needed to turn this kind of into something a little more accurate, and I made this board and cut a slit through the middle with my table saw here, and I dadoed these slots in here parallel to it. And I had an extra one of these cross slides that was right here, and I decided to make, this one was pretty big and thick. I needed a thinner one, so I just put it on a little piece of aluminum that I had, and I can now use it here, as you see. And when I put a brick on there to cut it in half. I'll have to fasten this board down better. It's just kind of clamped there. I've got to use, what do they call it? The conduit brackets. And I should be able to grab around this bar here and hold it down. And I'll find some way of doing the front. I'll have to flip it over. I think I can flip it over by putting that blade down in this hole here so I can keep it flat. Keep the board flat while I work. Anyway, we'll see how that works. I'll have to, of course, zip tie the trigger down, and then I'll just have to plug it in when I'm ready to run. Oh, and then I'll put this on some sawhorses. I have some sawhorses right here. I'll just set it on. Be able to make myself a table saw for cutting stone. All right. Okay, so now I've turned it over so I could reach the screws that hold this big rock cutting machine I'm making here down. I kind of put it into the table saw opening just because I can't raise the blade and it needed to sit flat. And I've already now put the screws in, the clamp it down on the back here. And I'm working on a metal bracket here that will help hold the front down. And I'm going to use, of course, that screw right there. So once I get this here, it will just sit and like that. And then I'll put 2 screws here, and that'll hold the nose from moving. Anyway, this should help me make a miniature table saw for rocks and bricks and everything I have to cut. All right, we'll see how it works when I get it done. Okay, so here is my saw that I put together, and I'm going to attempt to do the first little cut. There was a little short on the wall side, and I have to cut about 1.5 inches right here, pieces. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do first. Anyway, we'll see how this works. I bet you I'm going to get soaked, because as the water is turned on, it's going to fill up this lower It's actually a shield. Since I'm running this backwards, this is actually the top shield. It was meant to probably keep you from getting wet when you hold the saw, but I can't do that in this case, and I want to cut straight lines and all. So yeah, I'm going to turn it on, and it's going to be probably flipping water all over at me, but we'll see if we can get the cut. Okay. It's sliding on the table. I'm gonna have to get a clamp for that. Okay, got it clamped over here. Let's try another one. Let's see. I should see it come through here, here, down here, and here. Okay. There. Okay, let's try it again. All right, looks good. I'm gonna have to get a second clamp right here. But I'm gonna do a bunch of cutting, and then I'll bring you back when I'm ready to kind of concrete them in. thank you for watching. Remember, I'm Jeff from Eng-Manfac, and next time I'm going to be putting the shale stone down on top of that hearth and starting the brickwork that goes up and around the fireplace insert area. So it has a place for when I push the pellet stove up, it has a nice place to flat place to stop against it. So stay tuned for next time. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It really helps. Thank you.